All right. Oops, not that one. There we go. All right. I'm going to dive right in because we do have a lot to talk about. I know there's a lot of questions from the grown-ups and from the kids. Um, so we can get right into it. Well, first off, we are really excited. We are getting very excited. We are only about 3 weeks away now from our trip. This time in a month, we will be back from our trip, which is so hard to believe. So we've got a lot to do yet to get ready, but we are really looking forward to it and excited about everything. So a couple of the top preparation action items for a date is May 12th. So that's the Monday before we leave. And on that day, I would ask you to bring in your hard copy, your actual passport, to either me at Brookland or Mr. PDK at East End. And also, if your child will be taking any medications. And we'll talk about medications again in a few minutes, but this is any medications. This is vitamins. This is antacids. It's Tylenol. It's eye drops. It's anything from CVS needs to be administered by an adult, and we are trained and authorized. And we also need the medication form. So any of that would need to be dropped off to us. And oh, I've got a latecomer to the meeting joining behind me here. Okay. When you drop off those medications, they need to be in the original packaging. It doesn't need to be a new package, but it needs to be in like the Advil bottle, or the eye drops obviously are going to be in the eye drops bottle, in the prescription bottle. It cannot be loose pills in a Ziploc. It has to be the original packaging. And then on that day, also, we will give the scholars a new Stokes t-shirt to wear on the trip. And that is for them to wear on the travel days, flying out and returning, so that we can keep a good eye on everybody in the airport. Just as a small note, we do have, by tomorrow, if your kid is artistically inclined, to please submit a design for a t-shirt. You know, in the past, and our default is to just have the standard school logo on the front, and on the back say Study Tour 2025. But we were inspired last year while we were in the airport, and we're receiving a lot of, notice and questions from just members of the public. We thought it would be cool to have something designed by the kids. As yet, I have received one. So we would love to receive something from a student. It would just need to be the same design to cover both Panama, Martinique, and the DC tour. Maybe mention the school, have the school logo, the study tour, whatever is inspiring to them. But it would be one shirt for the whole group. So think about that tonight. Get artistic tonight. Okay. Packing. As we get closer, these are the things that we need to be worried about. So as I've shared out to everybody already, we need to be packing for 7 to 8 days, clothing and toiletries. It should be in a bag that the scholars can manage on their own. So like a rolly luggage or a large backpack, either way is going to be good, whatever is going to have what they need. It's less important. And I know we've been a little bit confused. We've been working on this issue that was a pain point last year, but it's less important if it's a checked bag or a carry-on. That's not a big deal. We can cope with either. Most important is that it's compact and easy to get through, and that they can manage it on their own. And then we have a question coming up where we will ask in advance so that we know what to expect your scholar to bring, so we can check in early. They should also have a gift for their pen pal, something small, $5 or so. We, in the past, we haven't talked about this internally, but we can do this again. We had gone out and bought in bulk, like Washington, DC magnets or keychains and things like that, so that all of the Stokes kids had something to give to their pen pal. So while we'll do that, if you would like to get something of your own of a $5 range would be cool. We ask no electronics. I know there's been some conversations about various cameras. A digital camera is fine. A Polaroid camera is fine. A converted iPhone as a camera is not fine. Nintendo Switch, obviously not fine. And then encourage them to bring a book or games and snacks for on the airplane. Again, just as I said, the carry-on versus the checked, it's more important that they can manage it themselves rather than it be a particular size. If you are going to do a carry-on, to do liquids in a Ziploc bag. Like I figure that most kids can't do a week on a mini sunscreen, so they probably need a full-size sunscreen, and that's fine. If they have it in a bag labeled with their name, we can put it in someone else's bag to check that through. And then keeping it tight. So my friends here in this picture, they are not keeping it tight, and they're sitting down and they were relaxed, but there was so many things, so many bags. I see loose shoes here. I see stuffed animals. I see bags of snacks. I see all kinds of stuff, water bottles. There's hoodies. That is really stressful coming through the airport. So when we're moving through the airport, we would like everybody to have just a backpack, to not have all the things hanging off of that. It just invites things getting lost, which is stressful for them when they're in the airport. And it's stressful for the adults because we are not able to track their items for them. So keeping it contained as much as possible. We would like them to each, for both Panama and Martinique, to have some nice clothes. For Panama, they go to the presidential palace. And for Martinique, we meet the mayor of the town where the school is that we've been working with. So by nice clothes, here are some examples from our trip last year. For the boys or the girls, it's a collared shirt, pants or nice shorts, a jumper kind of thing for the girls, a dress or a skirt. I know in Panama, it's particularly important that they have closed-toed shoes and they have their shoulders covered. That's not as much of an issue in Martinique. So all of this is written out on the packing list that we'll send out tomorrow. But all of these kids here look absolutely lovely and fine. Here is the flight information. We've shared this already, and I'll send this again in writing tomorrow. I know the times precisely can change from the airlines, but the flight numbers are the same. We're taking the 6 a.m. flight from Martinique from DCA to Miami. And then we will connect through Miami to Fort-de-France at about 10:20, arriving in Martinique at just before 2 p.m. Panama has a direct flight from Dulles into Panama City, leaving at about 9:30, arriving in Panama at 1:30. I think Panama has a time change, but if I'm not mistaken, now that we are clocks forward, we are on the same time zone as Martinique. Further to departure and our way down, we will provide a shuttle from the Brookland campus. So that will leave at 3 a.m. bright and early from Brookland for the Martinique group, and at 5 a.m. for Panama. So there's a QR code with the survey here. Don't worry about it right now. I will send it again later. Just asking so that we know who to expect for the shuttle, and then we will know who to expect at the airport so we don't leave anybody behind. The main and most important thing is timeliness. At 3:10 or whatever in Brookland, we are not waiting. We have to go. We have to be on time. If you're running late, then you will need to make that adjustment to the airport. So timeliness is the most important thing here. I see a question now. We can pause for the question. Go ahead, Denise.
Yeah, this is Byron. The shuttle for Martinique, is it 3 a.m. arrival for those who are going to Martinique, or 3 a.m. or what time is the shuttle departing?
So we would have you get to Brooklyn campus at 3.
By 3.
By 3, yeah.
Okay.
There's always a little bit of moving around and whatever, but to be to Brooklyn at 3 o'clock, yes.
Got
for
it.
Martinique.
Got it.
Yep. And we'll send this out later too, but we are Brookland, if you haven't been to the campus, is on a small
to make sure.
Sorry, friends, can you
Okay.
make sure that you're muted? Thank you. Brookland
Yes,
is on a
ma'am.
small street where we have a delicate relationship with our neighbors. So we ask please to arrive very quietly, like to not be out of the car chit-chatting. I will hear about it in my inbox from the neighbors if we are. So thank you. Returning flight information. Okay, I see Ms. Davis. Mr. Davis, do you have a question there?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I missed a step. So what day is departure again?
Oh, that is on May 15th. It's a
May
Thursday.
15th. And we need to have the children at the Brooklyn campus by 3 a.m.
By 3 a.m. if you'll take the shuttle, and I think I think it's 4 a.m. I have this written down, and it'll come out on the email that I'll send tomorrow. The option either to Brooklyn campus or straight to the airport.
Okay, appreciate you.
Yep. And then we are not able to take, if there are grown-ups traveling along, we're not able to accommodate them on the shuttle. So the shuttle is just for kids. If you will also be traveling, we'll see you at the airport.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so return. This is on May 22nd. It's the following Thursday. Martinique, we depart from there mid-afternoon. We get back into DCA quite late. It's a long day. And then Panama, leaving a little earlier in the morning, arriving into Dulles mid-afternoon. And we do ask that you pick up your scholar at the airport. We will share our progress if there are delays and things so that you can be there. I know after the 7 days, they're very eager to see you. And especially for the Martinique, when we're getting in so late, by the time we get through the luggage and everything, us adults, we love the kids, but we're ready to go home too. We hope that you can pick them up exactly on time. Thanks. I don't remember if this is a change since we have spoken last. I think we did have a change here, not for Martinique. So these are the same staff traveling, me, Miss Caroline, Mr. PDK, Mr. Renee, who is the target language instructional coach at Brookland, Madam Sonia, the 4th and 5th grade French teacher. Maybe this is a change. Okay. Miss Sabrina, who's the 5th grade English teacher at East End. Mr. Marcus, who's the 5th grade English teacher at Brookland. And Mr. Dean, who is the 2nd and 3rd grade French teacher at East End. So excited about our team. For Panama, also a small shift. We still have Mr. Bobby leading the group for many years now. Miss Molly, who is the 5th grade learning specialist at East End. Miss Ben, who is the family engagement coordinator at East End. Miss Thomas, who is the counselor at Brookland. Miss Ashanti, the student support coordinator at East End, and Coach Jay, who coaches aftercare at Brookland. He's done PE in the past. He has a lot of roles over the years at Brookland, very familiar to all the kids. Roommates and groups. I know because they asked me literally today when they will know their roommates. That will be very close to the departure when they find that out. Over the next couple weeks, the teachers will talk with the kids about that and have the kids make some selections on who will be good fits and who will maybe not be a good fit. And then the teachers and staff of the trips will work together to put kids into groups. I think we've talked about this in the past. We cannot, it's a very difficult task with the size, how many kids in the room and where are everybody located. So it's really tough. But we will make sure that everybody has at least a good buddy. They may be partnered with another set of buddies, but it's not always the dream team group because there's a lot of factors that we have to balance out here. We do for Martinique. I mean, so, okay, I think it's probably safe to say across the board, I haven't been working on the plan for Panama, but the rooms will be Brookland rooms or East End rooms. So we will probably not be mixing kids between the campuses. If we do have to, just based on the configuration, again, we would make sure that a kid has a buddy of their campus and a friend from their class that they can be with in their room. Moving into some of the things for the kids to start to keep in mind. When we think about food and drink, think about how they will take care of themselves. We really encourage them to the best of their ability to try new things, to be thinking ahead. Sometimes if the snack is being offered now, I'm not hungry right now, but we know it will be a long time until lunch. So we need to take care of our needs and maybe anticipate our needs in a few hours. And we also want to be extending courtesy to our hosts. There may be new foods to try. There may be things we haven't seen before. And it's important for us to be gracious if we are declining to eat something. If we don't like something, that of course happens, but making sure that we're being gracious about it and polite to our hosts. Also for the students and how they are caring for each other and the community, asking them to be flexible and to be risk takers. Group travel can be a particular challenge. It can be difficult with grown-ups. It can be difficult with kids. And our groups for both trips this year are the largest that we've ever had. 35 for Martinique, and I think it was 22 for Panama. So these are the largest groups we've ever taken. It's really a big thing. So as an individual adult, I'm not always able to put one-on-one attention on every kid. Sharing an anecdote that people have shared with us over the years when they say, "Oh, my kid is a very experienced traveler. We've done all kinds of traveling." That's great. That's really useful. But more important than having been all over the place is how they can exist with the group and with their classmates, making sure that they're aware of their surroundings. Particularly for Martinique, we are departing very early in the morning and returning very late at night. We're on a darkened airplane where not everybody else is so excited to be on that airplane. We need to make sure that we're being quiet and respectful of the other travelers, and just how we're existing in these spaces. We need to know that our scholars are listening and following directions, especially when we're in places like an airport, customs, and immigration, which is increasingly fraught all the time now, and making sure that the scholars can be responsible for their own items. I can't tell you how many pairs of socks and underwear we have picked up from around houses over the years on these trips. I don't love doing that. I would love them to be in charge of their own things. If I take off my shoes, I'm not just leaving them. I'm going to put them away somewhere tidy. I know where my things are, and I'm not losing my stuff. Especially important in the airport, but it's also important in the rooms as a courtesy to their roommates and to the adults that we are not there to pick up after kids. I'm trying to think, I don't know if Mr. Bobby was on. I didn't see. I know he
I'm
has.
here.
Okay. Did you have things you wanted to add here about expectations, or did you want to wait until I'm through with the general slides?
Just general, and then we'll go to or are we going to do like a split?
We'll split, but I know you had some things about being away from home that you had that you wanted to share, maybe.
Yeah, did I that went out? I think we'll share it out. Just like
Okay.
if this is the first time that your kids have been away from home, like away from the parents, if you can try to get them to spend night somewhere else, before they go, like over a friend's house, just so they can kind of get used to it, and avoid any like homesickness. But this is part of the reason why we start like in third grade with one overnight, and then like to Virginia Beach and Eastern Shore, like 2 overnights, and we kind of build up to this, you know. But that's it. I can probably send out something that like, here are some tips for prepping your child for overnight trips. If you're nervous, they're going to pick up on it, and they're going to be nervous. So.
Okay. And then Mr. PDK, I'm catching up a little bit with the various chats. It pointed out to me that the shuttle is at 2 a.m. for Martinique. It's a lot. We're excited, even though it's 2, but I will make sure that that is corrected when I send everything out tomorrow.
I think there are a lot of questions in the chat. I don't know.
Oh, shall we pause and look at that? Okay.
I don't know that they all might have been answered, but I don't know.
Mr. PDK is answering a number of them.
Amazing. I will check in. I'm sure he is well able to answer all of them, but I'm going to hand the Martinique stuff over to him in a few minutes and I can look through as well. Um, Payments and documents. I want to send so much appreciation to everyone who has gotten their payments in timely and the documents. I know that the world is crazy right now and there are folks who have had disruptions with their employment. If that's the case, please reach out to us and we can work something out. But it really eases so much of the planning burden when we don't have to chase folks down for the payments and the documents. The final payment is coming up on May 1st. I'll send out a reminder before that is due. I know the East End families with the fundraising, we are still finalizing that accounting. So that may extend the timeline slightly, but we will be in communication before that so we know what to expect. And for the documents, for the folks who have not had a chance yet to submit those, please do that as soon as possible. We had set that deadline in March that we would not be scrambling. We are scrambling right now, so please get those in. If your passport's not yet back to you, that's okay, but get the other items to me because we cannot travel without those. We cannot take your child out of the country if we don't have that notarized permission to take your child out. Mr. Kareem always had some very funny lines about that, but it is quite serious, where he would say, I'm too pretty to go to prison for your kid. I feel the same way. Please get us the documents. Some of those are medical documents. It's important that we have those. So if you have questions about where you stand on that, reach out. Also, I don't have it here handy, but there is a DC Health medical form that's been shared with the whole batch of documents. And if your child will be taking any medications, we need to have that form back and signed by the doctor. Again, that is for vitamins, it's for eye drops, it's for as needed things, it's for antacids, it's for anything medical that the child may take needs to have that form by the doctor. I know it's kind of a pain, but it is something that is required for us legally to be able to administer medication and for us to keep them safe. Yes, Heather, I see you have a
Can I
question.
say one thing about that?
Yes, thanks.
Please don't send your child without medication. I mean, without the proper paperwork, because we're going to find the medicine. Like one way or another, somebody's going to, be like, even if it's 2 days in, like, where did you get that? It's like, oh, my parents sent me with it. We will have to take the medication away. And if it's like for allergies, they're going to be miserable because we cannot give the medication without the proper paperwork. So please, please, please. Now, if there's other medication form that you signed, if the child has a headache, if the child you sign that, we will make sure to administer the proper medication. We will have medication there. If we have to take the kid to the doctors, believe it or not, healthcare in other countries are much better than here. And your child will get seen by a doctor, and we will make sure to take care of them. But if they have like something like that they have to take, like, please make sure that it has the doctor's note.
Heather, I saw you had a question.
Yeah, he just answered it. It was more so things like Pepto-Bismol or like there's a stomach ache and diarrhea, things that we don't do regularly.
Yep, I will.
Need
We
a
will.
doctor's note for that. You guys will have those on hand and be able to handle.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. So just further to the documents, I wanted to shout out the kids that have all of their documents in. This was as of Monday, so I know there are a couple people who've brought in things in the last couple days. I didn't have those all accounted for, but if you see your name here, you're good to go. Although some of these, I'm not counting that DC medical form as a required one, so that's optional. But if you haven't seen that, go by or send that to me and you think you need it, let's talk about it. So thank you to all these friends who have gotten their things in. If you think you should be on this list, send me an email and we can talk. A few miscellaneous things, in-country transportation. I think that's more of a country specific issue that maybe we can defer to a few minutes when we split into the groups. Money in exchange, lots of questions from kids and grown-ups about how much money should the kids bring. We recommend usually about 40 to 50 US dollars. they can feel free to bring that in US currency. We will do exchange as part of a math lesson while we're there. They don't need money for anything other than the souvenir shopping that we'll do. Homework and workbooks. I know it's exciting and we're all looking to have a good time, but this is a study tour. So the Panama and Martinique teams have been working on putting together a workbook of items to reflect and questions for them to be on the lookout for. So we will provide that to them before they go. And then communication, as I think most of you have experienced by now, when we go on the trip, we will have a group WhatsApp chat. Given that these are larger groups than we have ever traveled with before, we will, and we'll say this when we get there, but have some ground rules about it in the way that we are all using the chat. That if there's going to be discussion about things, maybe take that to the class specific chat, but to keep the travel channel kind of clear for the things that we need. We expect that we will be able to share in the morning our itinerary for the day, and then likely be offline while we are managing the kids and organizing all the activities, and then back on in the evening to share the pictures and updates and check-ins with everybody later in the evening. Of course, if there's emergencies, we are always available. But as our focus is providing this educational experience and keeping kids safe, it's a little hard also to be juggling the communication from back home. All right. I think we can go into breakout rooms now. Mr. Bobby, I just remind you when you go into the Panama group to record that as well, because my recording won't capture that.
Caroline,
Yes.
I might have missed some question in the chat. Would you like to answer those right now?
Let me
Since
fly
they're more
through here.
general questions.
Pack just in case meds. Okay, I see that we've talked about that. Okay, looks like that. Okay, more t-shirt designs coming in. I'm looking forward to that.
And while you look at it while you look at the questions, I'll probably give a tip to the parents. For the medication form, please make sure you fill it in. You have that from the doctor in time, because I know it might take 2 to 3 business days. I have the unfortunate event last year of a parent trying to fill that out in the last minute, and it did not work out. And I was, like Mr. Bobby said, if I don't have a doctor's form, I'm not able to, or we are not able to take the medicine and give it to the students. I would say fortunately the parent was on the island, so it was kind of like they had to come every day, stand in front of the house to give the medication. But God forbid you're not part of the parents that are traveling, so it would be a very, very, very difficult situation and uncomfortable. So make sure you get that ahead of time so you can submit it on the 12th.
And please don't try to hand us, hold on, Mello, please don't try to hand us medication at 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning. Like we're going to be, please try to get the medication to the school about a week ahead. That'd be great.
We had said Monday.
Okay.
I see a question. I don't know that one got answered about if kids are responsible for their own passports. We will collect those on Monday before the trip. Given the large groups, we may divide it by campus. So I'll stay in charge of the Brooklyn ones and Mr. PDK with the East End ones, but we will hand those to kids immediately to go through a security checkpoint and then immediately collecting them back because we would not want anything to happen with those. How to pick up at the airport, we will share that. Mr. Bobby will have that information for Panama coming in, and then DCA it's just that we're in the main terminal, not the little ones, so it's just there. Yes, okay. Potable water, yes. That is, I know for Martinique it's fine. I don't, Mr. Bobby, can you speak to Panama?
For the most part, it's fine, but we do grab some bottled water. Like I wouldn't, like if we're in the middle of the rainforest and there's like a stream, we'll make sure not to drink from there. But everything else is pretty good. But we have bottled water throughout, and we fill our containers in the morning.
I see a question about communications, just to reemphasize that we will make sure that the kids all can make a phone call home every night, but they will not need their own electronics. The teachers will be in charge of that. Okay, sorry. Thank you for waiting. Like, if there are other questions that folks wanted to speak up, feel free to go for it now. Yes, I see. A lot of confusion about me misstating the shuttle time, so sorry about that.
You did say the cameras are okay though, correct? Re,
A
re,
digital camera's fine. Yeah, as we can't like we had some questions about like what if they have an old iPhone? Can they use that as a camera? And that's no, because there's so much more on an iPhone that we're not able to supervise with them. So that's a little bit difficult, but a regular camera is fine, yes.
cool. You know I have plenty of regular cameras.
Well, we'll be counting on August for a lot of photography then.
And he will be happy to provide it. I think he charges 25 an hour.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
You'll be able to buy a whole lot of souvenirs.
I see a question about folks knowing which documents have been received. We've sent out a couple notifications specifying what had been turned in for each student. We will send something out again. But if you want to look back, it might be in Parent Square under your secure notices or something like that, because that was an individual message that came to say Emmett has turned in X, Y, and Z. Versus Cora has not turned in these things. So it would be specific to your child. It might be in a different place.
Hi, I have a question. Sorry if you guys already covered this, but I wanted to know, in terms of the adults that'll be traveling with the kids, are we able to check in with them at some point throughout the day or the week?
Yep, the kids will make a phone call home every night. All of the kids. It's a juggle, but we set aside time when they will have, it's sort of in the showering cycle, getting ready for bed cycle that while some are getting ready for bed, others are making their phone calls. So we make sure that everybody can call home every night. If there is a concern midday, the teachers and staff will be available by phone and we'll share those numbers out. But on the whole, I mean, unless there was something specific, we do need to be focused on the kids for the most part during the day.
Yeah, no, I was saying like so I'm actually going with
Okay.
coming along. And if I wanted to check in on her maybe once or twice, is that possible when you guys get back to the hotel or before you leave out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk. I know I don't have a lot of information yet on which parents are going and what their plans are. I think once we share the itinerary, you'll be able to see where we'll be and then plan where you'll be, and we will be seeing each other, I'm sure, because that's always
Yeah,
been
and we
the past.
the kids will
Okay.
get a chance to call the parent, even if they're in Panama or Martinique. I know that in the past, the parents like, okay, I'm here. I don't need to be called. Thank you. And others will be like, they do want the phone call. And again, it'll be a quick check-in. Um, ooh, this says I'm speaking French. Something popped up saying I'm speaking French. Can y'all
Yeah,
hear me?
that's that. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
And
Yeah, so and again, it'll be like maybe like a 3 to 5 minute conversation. Don't put your cousin on and ask about the dog and your neighbor down the street that you play basketball with. And it's a check-in to say, hey, we're doing well, we're having fun. I got bit by a mosquito, but I'm good, you know. Um, so yeah, it'll be mostly a check-in.
Okay, thank you.
And if you
Uh,
have island as well, we could keep in mind also like maybe Mr. Bobby will get into details when we go to the breakout rooms, but some of the activities parents are allowed to be in there, so that could be a time to check in with your scholar during the day.
And we'll be
um,
sending out daily, like, hey, this is what we're doing today, and we're gonna make sure everyone's on the WhatsApp group. If we miss anybody, please add somebody that we missed. So we'll be, saying, hey, this is what we're doing today. Um, we'll be back to the hotel. There might be some days like where we get back around like 10 o'clock at night and we just want to let them go to sleep. I'll send out a message like, hey, everyone's doing well, you know. Um, so, but yeah, it'll be mostly through WhatsApp how we communicate.
I see a question about food allergy concerns. Everybody has already filled out the form, so we know what people's issues are, and we have been communicating, especially for Martinique, we've been communicating with our liaison so that she's prepared on what food we can have and not have. And we've always been able to accommodate that fine in the past, but we can speak offline if you had other questions. And then I saw questions about bringing a credit card. I don't think that's a good idea. Part of the lesson that we're going to be doing is currency conversion. And we will be carrying, the staff will be carrying cash so we can provide that exchange for the kids. It's not a lot. 40 to 50 US is fine. Yes, we will go over the day schedule when we split into groups in just a minute. Medication form, again, I will send that. Small backpack, I think that's a good idea. Sorry, thank you for all waiting while we scan through. Charging cameras. Okay. That's a good question. Charging digital cameras. I am not sure what Martinique or what Panama takes. Martinique does use a European style. The staff will bring a couple charge like converters, but if you want to look into that, and that might be something to provide for your kid to bring.
Oh,
No, we
wow.
didn't go into breakouts. Here we go.
That was a joke, y'all. Don't turn me in. We're not having bottle services for kids.
I didn't get there yet in the chat, Mr. Bobby.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing that people are screenshotting me already, so that's great. What phone number to expect a call from?
It'll be different ones.
It might be different. Typically, I know when I have been facilitating the student calls, I'm often calling through the WhatsApp. Sometimes the kids don't know their numbers, or sometimes we may send a text to say, Emmett's going to be calling in the next 5 minutes, and then they can be ready. Because it is a huge bummer for the kids if they call and nobody picks up. But I also personally don't pick up unknown phone numbers. So we will make sure, I think you'll know our phone numbers a couple hours in because we'll all be texting on the WhatsApp chat, or we can make sure to share that in advance. Yes, there were a couple questions about like an airport backpack. Yes, I think that's a good idea for some activities on the plane. They'll need a day pack when they're around in the country with their water bottle, journal, sunscreen, whatnot. So a small or medium-sized backpack is great. Health and stomach things. Yeah, I think probably not a great idea to drink the water in the jungle, but in the city, I think is fine for all of them. If anything comes up, we will help them. Yes, I have a couple kids with birthdays. I see the question about that. We can talk. There's the bottle service. We can talk about what we would like to do, something special for our birthday friends, but we will make sure that they are celebrated. We'll talk offline. Great. All right. That is me all the way through the chat. Thank you for your patience. That is disjointed. So we will not be bringing antibiotics. We would need a prescription for that, but we would bring basics like Pepto-Bismol, Tylenol, ibuprofen, things like that. Question about carry-on or checked. Either is fine. Just make sure that we know in advance, and the survey about the airport shuttle has that question in there as well. If you don't know yet, that's also okay. But the more we can know in advance, this was a major pain point in the Martinique group last year, moving people around at the airport. And it was so chaotic, and it was partly on American Airlines that several people did not make the flight to Miami, and they were able to catch up and it all worked out. But we would love to smooth that piece of the process very much.
Is it smoother for you if more people have carry-ons?
I don't think necessarily, because then there's a question about the liquids. I think just knowing in advance, so then we can put those people in one line and have them checked in with their bags, and then the rest can either move to the security checkpoint or whatever. But knowing in advance, I think will be the best option. Maybe next year we'll revise that and further refine our process. But I think for now, it's just knowing what to expect. All right. Oh, let me set up some breakout rooms here. I'm not even ready for this. Let's see.
Thank you, Caroline.
Oh, this is supposed to have a video here.
Oh, yeah.
This is such a great reveal.
It's the time that they discover. So we'll have about 7 days of packed activities. So you will see throughout the itinerary that we will definitely have a little bit of time to sit down, but don't worry, everything we're doing is going to be done learning and having fun. So Friday 16, as we mentioned, there was a little bit of confusion. Maybe we thought you were talking about the airport, but if you are doing a shuttle at Brooklyn, you need to be there by 2, so that way the bus can leave at 2:20 and be by the airport at 3. So our flight is at 6 a.m. and international flight, usually they ask you to be there 3 hours before. So we can make sure to have, we'll try to do the check bag at an early time, but also it also for us to be able to get time to get breakfast before we go, because it's very early in the morning. We want to make sure the scholars are not on the airplane. They're hungry. So day 2, that's the day we go to 2 places, Maison du Ballet and Musée de la Banane. I'm not sure if your scholars have mentioned that, but they have been sending letters and receiving letter to our sister school called Ultima Vestris over the past month, just getting to learn to know each other. So the day 2, that's the day that we will meet with our pen pals at the Maison du Ballet. The Maison du Ballet, it's a place where they will learn about traditional dance from Martinique and dialogue at there. They will practice their active listening skills and their French language skills in real time. And it will be a time to bond with their pen pals as well. In the afternoon, we will go with them as well to the Musée de la Banane, which has a connection to one of their UOY unit, their first one, which was about food, where they will explore the cultural, historical, and economic impact of banana cultivation in Martinique. They will build connections to the global trade and sustainability, and they will also gather and record observations aligning with the PYP IB curriculum. Next slide. Day 3. So just a PS, wherever you see the writing being green, that means that parents are allowed to be in there. So we have activities, as we mentioned over the past meetings with the parents. There are activities that are purely academics. We want to limit any distractions, so we want that to be just for the scholars. So wherever you see green, that means parents that are on site are allowed to be in there as well. So day 3, we will go to Mangofield and we will have some beach time at Trois-Îlets. The Mangofield, it offers a physical and mental challenge through ziplining and rope courses. It's mainly to encourage the scholars to take responsible risk and demonstrate perseverance. They will learn about also the environmental stewardship at the park natural setting, because it's in a forest, so they get to record what they see, the elements that they see in the ecosystem, the links, the connection that they see, and who knows if they can make a connection with their exhibition units, they will do that as well. But it's so much physical, but so much fun as well. And during the afternoon, we'll have fun time at the beaches, of course. It's Martinique.
I just wanted to say sorry all that Mr. Bobby was having trouble in the other breakout room, so I'm sorry for putting windows all up in the place here.
Did you make, I think you have to, if you can make me a co-host, I can record.
All right. On day 4, we'll go at a place called the Center of Discovery and Sciences of Earth, and over there the scholars.
Caroline, am I good to go to the other side? All right.
Good. Yep. So at the Center of Discovery of Science of Earth, students will engage in inquiry-based learning along geology, volcanic activity, and local ecosystem. So the mountain that you see on the back of the picture is called the Mont Pelé. It's a very famous volcano site. We have a lot of we've been having a lot of volcano activities around that area. So the scholars will go and get to meet with actual scientists that work there, and they will explain them about the process of how they are able to trace and prevent, well, not prevent, but also know when volcanoes are happening. They have a documentary that they will watch in class that will retrace the one of the biggest volcano that the island has had, and from there they will ask questions and make connection also with ecosystem, how volcanoes are defining the mapping of the earth as we know them, and how they are also modifying their environment. So they will get to meet with the scientists. We'll have two places that we go, but they're in the same area. They will learn about seismic activities, but also after that go to the volcano center where they would get to experience some of these science process that they use. And then in the afternoon we will go to the plage, to the beach again, to have some fun time there. Day 5 is basically a day of meeting the mayor of one of the cities there, and meeting again with our pen pals from Ultima Vestris. Students get to explore civic leadership. They get to meet the local governance with the municipal leader, and they get to ask questions because the mayor will come with their own expert, and the students get to ask questions related to the environment, to the ecosystem, to economic activities, everything that you have been hearing your scholars talk about all of these years in their social studies lessons. That's the question that they will ask, and they get to see how a city or how other people or how other cultures are managing their economy, how other cultures are managing their ways, how other cultures are making sure that they are using ecology and all of that. So they get to meet the mayor. We'll have a letter written by the officials of DC. The students get to go there and read it directly to the mayor and get an interview with the mayor along with our pen pals. So that's what we do in the morning. And in the afternoon, we will go to the school where our sister school will prepare some activities. Last year, because France was organizing the Olympic Games, we've had Olympiads in there. We had tremendous time playing with them, some experiences, some of the sports. And we also had to do some of science activities related to their units of inquiry over there that they have in France. So it's a moment of communion, it's a moment of exchanging and having time with their pen pals as well. And all of these are done in the immersion, meaning they're communicating in French all day. Day 6 is the day of the currency exchange. We'll do some souvenir shopping and some kayaking. So the currency exchange, as Caroline mentioned it earlier, is a math lesson that we do about converting currencies, about decimal numbers, and it's a quick lesson that they will do. Then they will come to me where I will have like euros, and they come with their cash, and then they real-time practice and hand their money. We ask them, this is how much you have, how much you think is going to be in euros, so they get to practice that and have their money converted. Then we'll go to Tilo and then do some souvenir shopping. And in the afternoon, we will go do some kayaking in the mangrove, where they will learn about the elements of teamwork, environmental awareness, risk-taking, very much risk-taking, because it's always a blast. I've been saying this to everybody. It's always a blast to see them kind of being anxious of going into the mangroves and with all of the crabs and all of these trees and all of that. But coming back, you see them laughing, screaming, and you see the joy on their faces. So you can see that they have overcome some of their fears or their anxiousness. So it's really great activities for them, not only to be risk takers, but also making connection and seeing how the mangrove is helping the environment and connecting that to their exhibition units as well.
Can I ask a question about the kayaking?
Yeah.
Is it in like very shallow water, like when they did the Anacostia kayaking? Is the water not deep?
No, it's not deep. It's not deep. And then we have a very knowledgeable guide. Most of these tours that we're doing, they're guided. We have people that will come there and answer questions and all of that, and they're very much trained on safety. We'll have about 3 to 4 people in addition to the adults that will be going with them as well. But the water is not deep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was okay. There was some kids got a little bit tangled up and tipped over last year, and they were fine. They could stand up and get back in their boats just fine. It's very deceptive, the water there with the mangrove and how it is, but they were fine.
Thank you. That helps.
I can go to day 7. Yes, day 7, we will go explore Savan des Esclaves. It's a place that was a slave housing where the students will get to connect with one of their UOY lessons also as well with the immigration. So they will see how forced immigration has impacted demographic progress in the area, but also normal immigration has impacted the culture of Martinique. So it's lesson activity where they get to see how people used to live before and how they overcame some of their challenges, and they get to do an activity. Since you've seen like Martinique is banana, is cocoa and all of that, they will get to do an activity, have live cocoa nuts, and then turn it into raw chocolate. And I think some of them got to bring some. Didn't they get to bring some in here or no? I was a risk taker. I ate it. It was bitter. It was bitter, but it's being
They
a
got
risk.
to taste it. Yeah, they didn't bring any back, but yeah.
I think Kareem did, not the kids. He loves that. And in the afternoon, so one of the main reasons also we love going around May is because Martinique's Emancipation Day happened around May 22nd. This year we kind of unlucky because it's gonna fall on the day we come back. But nonetheless, there will be pre-activities the day before. So that morning is going to be a flexible day where we will, depending on where we are and the types of activities that are being conducted there, some flyers are coming in little by little, and our contact in Martinique is going to let us know. We will choose, and of course, we will communicate it to the parents that are on the island ahead of time. And also, as you know, there will be constant communication on WhatsApp to where we will go, and you'll get the pictures. So we will try to focus on Emancipation Day with the activity, go with the locals and share with them that time, that moment of commemoration, and kind of like feel how they celebrate emancipation and slavery emancipation out there. And as you can see on the picture, last year we got to put the flowers on the sea with the mayor of the city, and it was a really beautiful moment. And on day 8, we will reflect. We'll say thank you to our hosts. We will as the time really when you start being nostalgia, but we'll reflect and we'll pack up and return. And then we're asking you to collect your scholar at the airport. Caroline will give more information about that. And of course, if you're wondering how they're going to be able to capture all of these information and reflect on all of that, they will have their travel journal where they will be reflecting, but also answering inquiry-based questions depending on what place they are and what they're doing in there. So that's it. We're happy to take any questions regarding the itinerary.
One more slide for you, Mr. PDK. Surprise.
Oh yes, surprise. This year, for the first time, we will indeed have our sister school from Martinique coming to the US. So they will come right after we come back, probably 2 to 3 days difference. They will be coming here. They're here to visit DC for a week as well. It will be their first time. They will come and experience what DC look like. So it will be an opportunity for us also to give back all of the goodness that we received them over the years. So get ready for that. We have activities planned for them with the scholars, but as well also with the community of Stokes. So get ready for that. There will be more information coming.
Yeah, a couple of things. You were working on the weekday schedule, but we are expecting to have some kind of a community barbecue that will probably be at the Brooklyn campus. I think it was Saturday the 31st that we're looking at. So we know that is out of school time, but personally, it's just been so lovely and warming how the families of the school have welcomed us, that they have taken their weekends, they have made picnics for us, they have really gone out of their way. And so Stokes wanted to extend that same kindness to them by having them to our community and hoping that as many families as possible can make it. So once we have more of those details ironed out as far as plans for a barbecue, we will share that. But it is also June is Caribbean Heritage Month, so we're looking forward to kicking that off for our community and having this as a really special way to do that for the first time. All right.
Hi, can we just unmute?
Yep, go for it.
Hi, Caroline. Thank
Hi.
you, Mr. PDK. How will you communicate with parents on the island about where to meet? I mean, obviously, it's helpful to know what's open and closed, but then for the stuff that's open, like sort of where to actually show up.
So for the most part, I mean, for things off the top of my head, like the Volcano Museum, the CDST, it's going to be very obvious when we're there. We're probably the only group that will be there because I think we go on the weekend, and you won't miss us. But we will be. We I don't know yet how many parents are traveling along with us, but we can set up like a in island chat where we can share those types of details. One item that I think would be more difficult and we would need to coordinate on is the afternoon when we go to the beach in Toisillet after the Monglefield, the zip lining, because that is sort of a busy town area. And last year, even our groups got separated, and I ended up with some kids at one beach and Mr. PDK at a different beach with other kids. So we had a great time, but that was a little bit more thorny to coordinate. So we'll work it out.
Hi, I'm Erica. I have a question. How did the parents travel through Martinique, the ones that went to Martinique? Like how did they get around?
Last year, I think I know Miss Nancy, Leah's mom, and Miss Carla, that is Xandra's mom, had rented a car and they shared together. And I think some of the other parents were buddied up like that. But that was on their decision how they wanted to handle it. I think maybe it was more in Panama in the past that it was a larger group when I mean that was many years ago that they went and had like hired a driver and a small bus that they went around. But that is up to the grown-ups who are traveling.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hi, Miss Carolyn. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
How are you? Good
Very good,
evening,
thanks.
everyone.
Hi. Hello.
Quick question, Miss Carolyn. I know I came on late. It just slipped my mind. I was making dinner. What about in terms of weight for the suitcases? How many suitcases are they allowed? One suitcase and carry-on, one of the carry-on suitcases and their regular luggage?
They can bring one suitcase and Stokes will pay for the luggage fee. So American Airlines does not include that. And so it's just going to be whatever is their American Airlines guidelines about dimensions and weight. So that will be, we need to stick to that, but can have one check bag. And if they bring a carry-on, I would suggest like a backpack that they can use every day while they're in the island, that they can have their water bottle and their journal, and for the airport have like some snacks and a book and a card game or something like that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And since I was a little late, can you give me a little tidbit as to how they're going to be, what's the transport situation like to get there? I know that parents have to pick them up from the airport when they return, but what is the transport situation to get there?
So the school will provide a shuttle. One option is a shuttle from the Brookland campus that will leave at 2 a.m. From Brookland, or you can take your child directly to the airport yourself. So those are the two choices.
Thank you so much. So 2 a.m. at the Brooklyn campus if we
Yes.
want to. Thank
So
you.
we'll send out tomorrow with all the recap materials, a short survey that just asks if you plan for your scholar to come on the shuttle bus or if you will bring them to the airport, just so we know who we're looking for in the morning and can make sure we have everybody.
Okay, then thank you so much. And I know that you all are going to pick, we have to drop off those passports soon to the front office.
That's the Monday before we travel. I think it's the 12th.
Okay.
And you can just bring that to Mr. PDK at the East End campus.
Okay, then thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, Caroline, what's worked well? I think keychains were mentioned that you might get like a bunch of keychains, but what other things for like the gifts? What's worked well in the past?
So long story long, but the first year when I went with Cora, as a parent, we didn't know about that request to bring a pen pal gift. So I went to Target for the whole class or Five Below or something and just got a bunch of the stuff from the dollar bin, which, I didn't love it, but all the Martinique kids thought it was really fun because it's like cute fidgets and whatever. So that is a fallback, but ideally, I think it's a little bit more interesting and special to have something that's DC. So, there's those stores down by Union Market that have bulk souvenirs and things like that. So sorry, that's what I had gotten last year.
And sorry, maybe I'm confusing, but like
the dog.
So are we giving the kids, like, are we giving you like $5 to get gifts, the same gift for all the kids, or are we supposed to get a gift in addition?
That's up to you. We wanted to make sure there's at least something for all of the Martinique
sorry,
kids.
I was thinking, so like for the gift, if we're going to do an additional gift, like what would you
additionally?
Yeah.
Some of the kids had done artwork, had drawn a picture for them. It was not fancy stuff. Or if there was particular things that they had talked about when they wrote back and forth, if there was interest that they knew they shared, or if their pen pal was interested in soccer and they got a little soccer DC United something or other. But other than that, we kept it general and then let them. I know I didn't want to say this in the whole group because we didn't have something for the Panama group, but after the basketball game with the Wizards, the team gave us a whole bunch of those extra reversible bucket hats.
Yeah.
So we have enough that I think we can take for all of the Martinique kids. I need to make sure I still have enough, but that was something that we will probably provide as part of that pen pal gift.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. I know we're down to a lot of the details and no question is too small. So if you think of more things, feel free to ask either me or Mr. PDK or any of the other teachers. But we have been here an hour and we can let you go get on dinner and your evenings. Again, I will be sending out another notification with the documents, who's up to date and who's missing anything. So if you have questions about that, or thought you should have something, I feel like I'm pretty on top of what I have received so far. But if you thought you should have been on that list and you were not, we can talk about it.
And if I can, Caroline, I know this is the last time like we're meeting for this parent meeting, and it's really important to kind of just to in the spirit of like the collaboration between parents and teachers. We have been talking to the scholars, try and prepare them physically and psychologically to going to somewhere else where the culture might be different. And it's really important that that conversation starts at home. And it's just like some small talks like about them being open and risk takers, because the food might be different, still very good, but since it's the first time, they might feel some apprehension. So having those small conversation talk is really important and very helpful to the teachers, and also the activities that we will be doing. Some of them, they might feel anxious and have second thought of doing them. Of course, the teachers will guide them through the benefits of it and try to make sure that they are willingly doing it. But if you parents can help with that, just beginning those conversations so we can have that at school. I myself will have a talk with them, and Caroline also will do. So we will talk about the safety expectations, routines, things that we're going to do there, what time we wake up, what time we leave, all of the reflection and all of that. But just in the spirit of collaboration between teachers and parents, if it will be really appreciated if you have those talks at home as well.
And a little bit piggybacking on that, this is something that we sort of hesitate about asking because we do want to encourage kids to be brave, to be risk takers, and to do what they can. And, that we're not able to cater to everybody's most specific needs. But if you know your child has something that we should know about, please let us know. If they have frequent car sickness, we are on some very windy roads and had a kid get sick last year that was upsetting for her. And if we could have prepared with a change of clothes on the day trips would have been great. Things like being very afraid at night or wetting the bed. There are ways we can accommodate all of these things, but it's helpful if we know. If kids who are not strong swimmers, I think by now they're very good at being advocates for themselves. And the Virginia Beach, I took them last year, so I know a lot of them. But if there is anything that we should know to support your kid to be successful, would be very helpful for us. So.
And Miss Caroline, what about transportation? Well, I took Sage and Lester to Tobago. Tobago is similar to Martinique, Trinidad and Tobago. So the transportation is like they have those little bus. Yeah. So children may be afraid to be, as you said, and the roads are very windy. So they have to get accustomed to the sort of transportation that they may get in Martinique because it's similar to Trinidad and Tobago, where they have the small maxi taxis going around.
Where are you from?
I'm from Tobago.
Okay. So I lived in St. Lucia for a couple years. So that's next door to Martinique.
Yes, I've been to St. Lucia too.
Yeah, I know all about the minibuses and the winding roads and sitting in the back when it's very hot. But our vans are air conditioned. They are the large vans that are very similar to what we have here.
In the States, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a few years since I've been back to St. Lucia, but these are very nice vans that we're in. For the most part, the roads are well-traveled and not super windy. There's one spot when we go up to the volcano that I expect is going to be windy. And if kids are very sensitive, it might be a thing. But I find that Martinique is not as windy as St. Lucia was. So for what it's worth.
St. Lucia was very windy, and Trinidad and Tobago as they come. So I know they have a little bit of knowledge of it, my children. So the different taste of food, they have to get accustomed. It's not American food, and it's going to be okay. So thank you for sharing that concern for all our scholars.
Okay, I see a couple more questions in the chat. So, I mean, I'm happy to hang out and keep talking, no problem at all. A question about Martinique cuisine for allergy purposes. So we work with a liaison who is a friend of the school that I think I've said in the past that she is, for folks who knew Quincy Sneed, who was in my daughter Cora's year a couple years ago, it's his mother's sister. So they are from Guadeloupe. She lives now in Martinique. She lives there. And so we work with, her name is Sandra, and this is the sister of a former parent at Stokes. So we have worked with her for many years, and she cooks for us personally. And I will say it's wonderful. I'm so excited and looking forward to it because everything she does is fresh and made for us. At PDK, if you want to chip in on the types of things, she made us sort of a continental breakfast every day that was croissants and baguettes, and there was Nutella, but we had a nut allergy last year, so we would keep Nutella to the side or keep that separated. Jams and butter and fresh fruit and eggs every morning. It was so great. She will pack us a daily lunch that usually is some kind of like a rice bowl, maybe with tuna or chicken, with vegetables and a dressing. Really good. And then in the evening, sometimes we had like a stew. We had pasta. I don't know, PDK, if you had
pizza there. Sometimes it's very local. But everything is taken in account. Vegetarian and all of the dietary restrictions are taken in account. I remember we've had also eggs in for breakfast. We've had pizza. Scholars were very happy about it. They're like, we're back. But they very much enjoyed the food. All the cohort we've had there, They come in there. It's not like we just, that's why we want to have this kind of discussion at home. So they just open-minded, because once they try it, they really love the food. What else? We've had a very local one where we had it was like rice. It's variety, but it's a variety of food. We would take some at lunch, and then we'll come back, and then the scholars get to help with the dishes and all of that. So it's really interesting. But we will get the menu, but don't worry, it's going to be a variety of food, very well healthy. We will still follow the protocol of the school with in terms of food that we're giving, and making sure that everybody respect their dietary restriction as well.
Yeah, we've already spoken with her that she never does pork. We said never pork for us. And then we know that there are several vegetarians. We've coped in the past with a child that had celiac, nut allergies, egg allergies. If you'd like to speak privately, we certainly can, but I know that these kids are old enough to advocate for themselves and are very good at that. So I'm happy to help you set your mind at ease, but I don't have concerns. I think we'll be great with that. Coconut there, I don't think it was in the food, but if that is a concern, we can make sure that it's not. There were certainly coconut trees around, and I personally was on a mission to seek out a coconut to drink from the tree. And I did that. But other than that, it was not something that the kids had directly. But if that's an issue, we'll make sure that it's separate. I think maybe there was coconut ice cream in the evening a couple days, but there were other options too. Yes, the food is really a treat. I wasn't so ready for that the first time I went with this. The weather, again, having lived in the Caribbean, it was a while ago with climate change, but I found it very hot last year. It was hotter than I remembered St. Lucia, and it's next door, so it was a lot. So for them to be, I know it says pants on that packing list, but I think pants is going to be uncomfortable. School shorts, school clothes, shorts and t-shirts is great.
And I would say, I think maybe the CDST and Maison du Ballet, those are the places that I can remember on the top of my head being inside, but most of the other activities that we're doing are outside. And yeah, the visit to the mayor, of course. So majority of the activities we'll be doing are going to be outside. So it's going to be hot, humid, but nothing that's not bearable, but just pack a lot of sunscreen.
And a lot of water, yeah. We got a good water bottle. Oh, that was one thing we didn't talk about. My friends and their Stanley Cups. They love their Stanley Cups. But sometimes those can be hard to manage, you know. Think about what's the best water bottle for them that will not spill, that they can manage easily and doesn't weigh a ton. So whatever they do. Okay, Rebecca, you've had your hand up forever. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Question about, I know you guys all have Band-Aids and Neosporin and stuff, but is that considered like something we shouldn't pack with our child?
Yeah, we'll bring first aid kit. I don't think that's something that you need to worry about unless that sets her mind at ease.
Oh, I don't know. She loves to have stuff. She loves the Band-Aids and the Neosporin. I'm thinking like insect bites, paper cuts, who knows?
Yeah, well, you know, whatever works for her, but we will have that type of stuff.
Thank you.
Yep.
Miss Carolyn, I was wondering about towel packing, because I know towels can weigh a ton.
Yes.
Are they going to have fresh towels at that place? Because I know you all said beach towels. So I was thinking I would get 2 beach towels, but do they need extra towels? Are they staying at a place that will give towels to them so I won't have to pack a towel a day or 2 towels for a day?
That's a good question. And maybe that's something we can follow up with the hotel. There is a pool at the hotel, and my vast experience is that places give you a pool towel or make that available. There definitely will be bath towels, but if there's a pool towel, we may need a beach towel. And personally, I like those really thin ones that they have them at Target or on Amazon because they dry quickly and they don't hold the sand. That was one of my key takeaways from living in the Caribbean was those are great. And those could be something that if I use it in the evening, it will be dry in the morning versus the thick terry cloth ones that they have at Costco that are so cozy, but they stay so wet and sandy, and that doesn't sound fun. So
okay, thank you so much. So I don't have to pack towels for where they're staying. They will be provided those towels.
They will have bath towels. I would say one beach towel would be fine. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. So I
Of
don't have
course.
to be overpacking. Thank you.
All right. I see the other breakout room is still going. So I know everybody's got lots of questions. And again, I'm very excited about this myself. Both just taking this with the kids, going with my own son this year. It's really exciting, and I'm happy to talk about it anytime. But I know that it is getting on to 8 o'clock here. And one.
All right, cool. We are recording. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the slide. Sorry, it's not letting me pull up the slide. I am. I'm gonna go. All right, here we go. Sorry about that, y'all. I think she said I'm starting on 28. There we go. All right, so here we are. And let me use slide. Okay, can everybody see this?
Press slideshow. Press slideshow.
Slideshow on the
Oh,
right.
there it is. Okay,
There.
there we go. Thank you, y'all. It's late. So day one, we arrived in Panama. We arrived. Does she have the? Okay, she doesn't have this. She didn't put my itinerary on there. All right, I'm gonna go through this, but then I'm gonna go through. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just show mine, and then I'll show these pictures. So I'm gonna pull up what I have, and then I'll go through the pictures. All right, so this is the itinerary, and again, there might be some days where this changes. Like for instance, Boston International School, they might switch the itinerary where we might all be at the Presidential Palace. So far, everything except for that part is what we're going to do. So Thursday, we arrive at Panama around 2:15, and keep in mind, we're arriving there at 2:15, but it'll be 3:15 here. So in case, I might send like a WhatsApp and say, hey, we've arrived. In case you haven't heard from us, don't panic. We get there at 3:15 our time. And then we have to go through through customs and all that. So you'll probably hear from us closer to like around like 4 o'clock around there. 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30 your time. And I'll send like one message saying we've arrived, but you might not hear from your kid until later that night. We'll try to check into the hotel around 5 p.m., unpack, and then go have dinner. And then we'll go do like a walk on the boardwalk, and everything in green that you see that's in green on this. And I will send this out again. And this says 24. This should be 25. I'll change that to 25. So everything you see on here in green, that's the part that parents can join us. It's all the public places. On Friday, we will we'll have breakfast real early. And again, this might change a little depending on their itinerary, because what they send us, they want to actually come closer to where we are at the hotel. So we'll have breakfast early. and head over to Boston School International and spend the day there until lunchtime. And then we'll go to Panama Viejo. And I will send, again, when I send this out, you can just click on everything that's hyperlinked and that way you'll see. Now, this part right here where it's going to be either the mall and a movie and a soccer game. Every year we've been lucky to go when there's been like their national soccer championship game. So sometimes it happens like on a Friday, sometimes it might happen on Saturday. So depending on when it happens, we're going to try and make it if it's not too far away, like if it's not a team that's really far away from city, we try to make it. And then we'll flip flop and, we'll go to the movie on the next night. Head back to the hotel and right here. Oh, and in red, that's what you should wear on that day. So everything in red. So on the, when we travel, wear shorts or jeans. Everybody will have the Purple Stokes t-shirt that says International Study Tour and tennis shoes or Crocs, which is also comfortable. Right here, when we visit the presidential or when we go to the school, have like pants, skirt, polo shirt, or blouse. That's because that's what they have to wear at school. So if we don't go to the school, we will it'll be a lot more casual than this. I will send out this after this meeting. I will send this out, but then I will send out the final updated one. On Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be, for the first time, we're doing something a little different. We are splitting the group in half because currently at the Panama Canal for like the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a drought. And the Panama Canal, like they get all their water that you see in the Panama Canal from rain, and it's from a man-made lake, and they've been having a drought, whatever, in Panama it's a drought. Right here would be floods, but it's a drought, and they use a lot. The boat that they use to get to the Smithsonian Island is a lot smaller, so they only allow like 20 passengers. So we split the group in two. So group one on Saturday, the group that's going to the Smithsonian Island, we will get up really, really early, have breakfast, and then leave the hotel by like 7 a.m. and leave the dock by like 7:40. So 7:40 is when we have to be at the dock and leave, get on a boat. And then we spend the day at the Smithsonian Island. This right here, so make sure you wear a lot of light colors if you can have like white pants, white, like very light shirt, like, like Nike, whatever, the moisture wicking ones are very light, and a hat. Make sure you have like a hat, like a white hat. And then long socks. You need long socks because we got to put our socks over our pants. So if you have like hiking pants, like really, really light hiking pants, like light material, and if they're white. So if you can do white, that'd be great. And long sleeves. Make sure you wear long sleeves. Make sure we have our sunblock and insect repellent. Group 2 on that day will be going to the Bio Museum, and then depart the Bio Museum, go to lunch, and then they'll be heading to the Panama Canal. And we will be meeting both groups at the Panama Canal. And again, this is where we're either going to do the movie or a soccer game after we all get together at the Panama Canal. And again, journaling and homework, we're going to do that every night. They're going to get a homework packet from the activities that they did for the day. And then on Sunday, the group swap. So whatever this group is doing here, then they're going to Smithsonian Island, and whatever this group right here is going to do, they're going to the Biomuseum and Panama Canal. On Monday, we're heading to the Presidential Palace. And again, I put the Panama Canal and Biomuseum here in green because those are public places. Parents can join us there if they want. Now, please don't get mad at us if we change. Like, I know some folks like, I got an Uber to get to the Biomuseum at 10 o'clock. These are very estimated times. Like, there's some times that are very precise. Like the island, we have to be at the dock by 7:40 because the boat departs, and it's just one boat that goes to this island. we have to be at the presidential palace exactly at 9 o'clock because that's when the tour time is. So these type of times we have to are very exact. The other times are a very, very good guesstimate. Monday we will do the presidential palace visit. And this is the recommended attire. Like, we don't want to wear shorts. They don't allow like shorts and t-shirts. They want you to be casual, like I guess kind of like a business casual. So like khakis and a polo shirt would be great. Then we depart the presidential palace, head back to the hotel, and head to El Valle. And I see there's chats coming up. We'll head to El Valle around 11:30 and takes around 2.5 to 3 hours to get to El Valle. And the activities in El Valle, we're going to be doing the horseback riding, zip lining, shopping. There's like natural mud baths that you can do there. And then we're going to head to Bihal Resort, and we're going to stay there for 2 days. The reason that we actually stay at another hotel, we leave all our stuff there at the main hotel, and then we travel. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours. So that's kind of like, driving to, I guess, Philadelphia, a little bit past Philadelphia, and trying to come back the same night. Everybody was really, really exhausted, including the drivers. And especially since we start our day off so early, it was just better to stay out there. And, the place where we're staying, food's included, and the kids have a lot of fun. Last year, we checked in around like maybe like 6 or 7, and the kids were like, they're like, man, we only got to stay here till noon. And so it'll be downtime. They'll still be doing work and homework, but we'll stay there all day on Tuesday. We depart from the hotel on Wednesday around like 12 p.m. and then head back. And we might do like one last dinner with like our buddies from the school. And then Thursday we wake up at 5:30 in the morning, head to the airport, and we get back at we get to the airport. We depart around 9:22 and arrive DC. It'll be Dulles. We arrive at 3:09 p.m. And again, we're going to wear the Purple Stokes t-shirts to make sure that we can identify them easily in the airport. The one thing that might change right here is if the students from on Friday join us, like if they want to join us at the Presidential Palace, we might move the Presidential Palace to Friday instead of Monday, and then just leave to Valle a little bit earlier. And then I'm going to stop share for a moment and look at the chat, or if you guys just want to come off of mute, I can probably look at the chat for a minute.
I tried to answer some of the chat questions, Mr. Bobby.
Okay, thank you. White, yes, because of the heat, and also because dark colors attract bugs. So like, did you already put that on there?
Mm-hmm.
All
so
right.
we could identify
There's already a
the
Panama group did WhatsApp. I don't know if did Caroline do that yet? I know she did. I think she did the staff one. I don't think she's done one for parents.
For the parents yet, no. I said probably the day before the trip, the parent one will be created.
Yes, and the ticks there, just by the way, the ticks in Panama do not have Lyme's disease. So, but we will make sure that, take off if there's any ticks.
Do you have like bug spray recommendations? Like,
I mean, just the rate, what is it called? Off.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do that. That there's off is like 99% DEET. I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
And we don't, we recommend they don't spray it on their skin, like spray it on the clothes. That's best. And also the time we're going is more like we're going kind of like right in between like tick season and mosquito season. So like it's the wet. I know, right? It's like choose your evil. But yeah, there weren't that many mosquitoes when we went. And there weren't ticks. One time we went in March and there were a lot of ticks. It was the dry season. There were a lot of ticks, but Does the airplane have TVs on the back of the seat? Sometimes it depends on the plane. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they have like the ones that come up from the ceiling. So, yes, I'm going to send the itinerary to you. So I will send this one, but remember, it might change a little. So if you are one of the parents who's going, like if you're going to Uber, you're going to be Ubering around, just make sure that, you have the final one, which will be sent out again.
Mr. Bobby, I have a quick question about the
Yes.
itinerary. No, I was just gonna say, if possible, can you send that as sooner than later? Because I just there's a lot of stuff that we kind of need to buy on here.
Okay.
So yeah, if you could just, even if it's a rough draft, I want it more for the different things because I want to try to go get some shopping done this weekend if possible.
Okay.
Okay.
And I see Heather with her hand up.
Yeah, I was just trying to get clarity. So they're fully checking out of one hotel, going to the beach.
No,
No.
we're going to just
So with
leave
this,
everything at. Yeah, we're gonna leave everything at our main hotel, like, and then
okay.
they should
Like a
have like
backpack.
a backpack, like,
For 2 nights, 1 night or 2 nights,
yeah,
you say?
about 2 nights.
Okay, thanks.
I know, Mr. Bobby, on your packing list, I don't know if you included it, but my one recommendation I really felt like after going to Martinique and Panama is have students have water bottles, but I really would recommend a metal or aluminum water bottle because the plastic ones, if they do get to stay in the car, the water gets really hot. Students won't be able to drink it, but if it's at least in the metal water bottle canisters, it would actually stay cool and cold, and students will be able to enjoy it. And with the plastic ones, if they fall on the floor again, the water bottle ends up breaking. But with
Okay.
the metal ones, they're durable, and so that was I felt like that was a
What's
good.
that one water bottle that survives fires, car fires?
Yes.
What's that one? Everybody's going crazy when they came out with the pink one.
Stanley's.
Yeah, it's the Stanleys. So I hear that those aren't great for traveling because they got, I guess, a straw, and if they
All the
tip,
compartments, yeah.
they don't completely close. So I would recommend. I would recommend something like this, like,
Mhm.
the metal that
Perfect.
completely closes, not
Yes.
anything with straw sticking out, and
Mhm. Yeah, not too big, not too small either, because when it's too big, the students won't want to carry it. And if it's too small, after like one drink, they're practically done and want to replenish their water bottle. So like a nice in between size.
I think this is like a 32 ounce. This,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a big gulp. I guess I can show the 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 pictures of the itinerary. If you guys want to see some of those. Let's see.
Mr. Bobby, I did see one question about when will they know about which group of students will be going to the canal or the island, because some parents look like they wanted to join. We won't know yet.
Wait, what
So
island? To
between the Panama Canal, when we had to split the groups into two, so
Got it.
some parents
Yeah.
wanted
So
to
the
know
boat is
which
full with our
group
students
would be.
only. Like, there's no more space on the boats to go to the island. So that's. But if they want to, so if they're like in group 2, yes, I have that. I will send that list out. Let me do slideshow again. So y'all can. This is day 1. That's the boardwalk. Day 2, this is Panama Viejo. So this is like the ruins of Panama where Captain Morgan actually pilfered this was Panama City. So Captain Morgan did that. The Smithsonian, and you see the kids all dressed in white over here and talk, that's the guide right there. This was the soccer game, and that's right outside I think this was outside the Bio Museum. This is the presidential palace. That's where the president sits to sign his executive order, which he only has like maybe 3 during his presidency as normal. And then, horseback riding in El Valle. This is Bihao. Oh, she put a little video on here. Um, oh yeah, this our kids are very popular. They were leading the exercises, and I think is that it. Uh, okay, so I'm gonna stop share.
And I also like say one more thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be fully white. It could also be khaki pants, but light color clothing. So don't feel like, okay, they're gonna spend the day with white clothing. I know white is gets dirty some very quickly, but khaki pants also
Yeah,
work really
and try
well.
to avoid even if try to avoid like white sweatpants because it's pretty humid.
Mhm.
So something very light texture and light in color. Are there any other questions? Were there some in the chat?
Um, Mr. Bobby, sorry, I've got a question. I don't know if you went through it on the earlier call, but could you give us a rundown if you haven't already on like how the kids are monitored and like who's going to be with them? I didn't, and if it's already recorded, I can just watch the recording.
Yeah, you mean like the adults that are going?
Yeah, like how's it going to work with just, taking care of these kids?
We have
Practical.
Yeah, so we have 6 adults going to each of no, there's more going to to Martinique, right? Is it 8, I think? I think there's 8 going to Martinique because there's 36 kids and there's 6 going to Panama. I'm going, Ms. Thomas going, Coach J, Ms.
Yeah, Ben.
Ashanti,
I
Ms.
think even
Ben.
things like bathrooms, like when you're out and about, who's going to the bathroom? Like, how are you guys moving around daily with monitoring?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so like when we go to like let's say the Panama Canal, um, we're not just gonna tell the kids like, yeah, sure, go to the bathroom. We're gonna make sure to walk and stand outside the bathroom with them when they go to, when we're at restaurants, we'll just make sure that we can, we put eyes on them at all times.
Okay, and they're going to be with the other kids in their groups, right? All the time with the other school.
You mean,
or is that not, or no?
when you say the other school, are you talking about like the East End campus, or are you talking about like
No,
the school in Panama?
the school in Panama. Are they
No, school in Panama, we're just going to be with them for like maybe 1 or 2 days. They might join us on a couple of the stuff, but
okay.
yeah, we're just going to be with them for like one day.
Okay, thanks.
What was No, I think it's 27 to Panama and 36. Yeah, 36 to Martinique. Yeah, I think it's 27.
There's a question about Apple AirTags, Mr. Bobby. I do believe they will work in Panama.
Yeah,
They
they'll
should
work.
have AirTags. Yes. Panama or Martinique, yes.
The funniest thing, I
those
remember,
AirTags work everywhere.
yeah, the funny thing, like AirTags, like, so I was really nervous. The parent didn't tell me, I didn't know what AirTags were. And like 2 years ago, Mr. Marks and I was like, yo, are we being like followed? And like soon as it started working, as soon as we got to the airport, and I didn't know what it was. And I'm like looking around being paranoid. I'm like, yo, somebody's following us. And I kept just looking
Oh yeah, because
around.
it tells you if there's one near you.
And I had actually the parent put it in the wallet and I was carrying the kid's wallet in my backpack. And I was just like, and my phone kept telling me like, AirTag. I'm like, yeah,
Who is trying to be?
yes, I thought somebody was trying to rob us.
Speaking of a wallet, do you have suggestions for what, I don't know, like containers they should have for things they need to carry every day or for money, like a wallet or just like a Ziploc bag or what
I
is
would
work?
put everything like if your kids have ever gone like camping, for like the summer camp, I would grab like gallon Ziploc bags and like it depends on how much you want to do for your kid or let them just become a little more independent. But you can get the Ziploc bag and be like, this is Monday's clothes, this, Tuesday's clothes. After you get it, after you wear it, you can put it back in that bag. In Panama, we do get to wash the clothes probably once. Like the ladies at the hotel might be able to wash the clothes. Please inform your kids though. Don't if something gets wet, don't put it back inside your suitcase.
Air dry.
Yeah, air dry it.
Mhm. And I would also recommend maybe like a small backpack because again, when students have depending on the walking and the traveling, sometimes like, they wouldn't want to carry even the little backpack that just probably just have a water bottle. But most of the time we wouldn't encourage them to have wallets on them or money unless we know that they were going shopping. So we do encourage them like, hey, today we'll be going shopping. So if you want to purchase anything, please make sure you have your money with you. But normally throughout like some of the days, they won't necessarily need a wallet with them. So
Any other questions? All righty.
sounds like so much fun. It is. It is very fun. Lots of fun.
It's a lot of fun. Oh, did something else come up?
Mhm.
Yes, it is a lot of fun.
Mr. Bobby, did you also, because I did get in a little bit late, did you also share like at nighttime, we do encourage students to be able to, we'll have our phones, if they don't have cell phones, like every nighttime, students will be able to contact parents and call them.
Yeah, and we'll divide. So it'll be like 6 adults, we'll have 6 kids, and we'll make sure that like if I have my 6 kids, you might be hearing from my phone, like, it'll be that.
For my phone, yep.
Yeah,
But it's not like a whole hour for each student. Like keep in mind, like it is late. Students will have to go to bed at a certain time. So like maybe about like a good 5-10 minute conversation, give or take, let them know they're okay. So that way everybody will be able to have a turn and be able to rest for the next day.
yeah. They can probably, they should probably bring a pen and pencil. We will give them like a homework packet.
If the questions, yes.
Yeah, so they'll have like a home, like it'll be like in a binder. I'm trying to see if I see the homework packet. No, I can't find it right now. But
Do you know, Mr. Bobby, how many students with dietary restrictions or medication? Mr. Bobby will have that for, as far as all the students' medications, he'll be the person in charge of administering anything to them.
Actually, Jay is doing it this year. Jay and Ms. Molly, they're both the certified ones doing the medication.
Can you guys clarify on the calls from the students? They're each given an opportunity to make one phone call, but they can decline, right? Like if they don't feel like calling their parents that day.
They could. I mean, yeah, we try to really encourage them to, but if the parent tells us like,
I haven't heard for 3 days from my child. Are they okay? We definitely would encourage them to at least call home, let them know they're okay, and then afterwards, like because yes, I did have on Panama, in Martinique last year, a student that called their parents after like the third or fourth day, and it was like that the parent was very worried, but the child was okay, and it was like, please call your mom, please. It doesn't have to be a call every day or every night. So
I see Karen's hand is up. You can just talk. We don't.
Okay, sorry. Quick question, and I can come off video thing. For kids who have parents in two different households, it'll be okay for them to make two calls? Okay.
Yeah, we'll make sure that they can call each home.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm just going to share quickly like the homework packet from last year. So it's all in Spanish, so It's just questions. Why did they construct the canal? Who constructed it? Escriba dos ventajas de haber construido el canal. So it's just questions, and every day, we'll put these in order so that every day they'll have something to do. And then we'll give them also separate from this. This is the homework packet. They'll be doing journaling. So yeah, this is what the homework packet looks like. The math, what was the temperature? They have to translate that into, so there's temperature, kilometers, and so they'll be doing some conversion, reflections. So yeah. All righty. I think, is that all the questions? Cool. And you can email us if you have any more questions. And we will take care of your babies, we promise.
Yes. Well, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and please reach out if you have any more questions.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you, everybody. Bye.